This is Kenji, the newest legendary brawler in Brawl Stars, and in this video we'll be trying to push Kenji to 500 trophies without losing, well, at least in a Nuzlocke. I also have a mastery on him at the moment because I was pushing him in ranked, so I do have slightly some experience playing with him. Now, in most Nuzlockes you might see though, you're trying to get wins, and if you lose with a brawler, usually you can't play them again because they're essentially dead. However, we're gonna be kind of doing a different kind of Nuzlocke. Call it a cosmic Nuzlocke if you want, but let me lay down the rules. If I lose in a game mode, I can't play that game mode again. Also, I can only play with randoms, which will make it, well, interesting. And I'm also adding my own sort of twist here to make my life slightly easier with this challenge. And that is, if I reach 400 trophies before I lose all my game modes, then I'm allowed to revive one game mode of my choice. And if I get to 300, then I get to revive a game mode, but it will be chosen by a random wheel. So it will be a random game mode, I guess. And I guess these will kind of be my main goal before I run out of game modes. But as you can see already, we've already made our start in Solo Showdown, and for Solo Showdown the rules are pretty simple. If I get 4th place, that technically counts as a win in game. And that means if it's a win for me, then, you know, it's a win for Kenji. I'll try not to camp in the bush though, until 4th place, but you know, I can't make any promises. Might need to. I mean, that's probably the best technique you can go with in Solo Showdown. For Duo Showdown later on, 2nd place is also counting as a win, but pretty much all the other game modes, wins are pretty straightforward. And no really need to explain them anyways. Duos is an exception though, so I'll explain it when I do get to it later on, if I do get onto it later on. Now, Kenji as a brawler is actually really good. Their shield star power is super helpful, and their super can actually be really good if you can time it correctly. For example, look at this, perfect slice on the Rico, and that's our first win already. From here though, it was pretty much smooth sailing, and I do normally like to start with Showdown in these Nuzlocks, since it's probably the best game mode to push at low trophies. Firstly, because no teammates, and secondly, no teamers here for now. Montage time. At 99 trophies, Showdown map changed to Cavern Churn, which isn't really the best map for Kenji. Games on this map was a lot closer than it was before, and it was also probably because of the massive bush no one wants to go into, you know, that Shelly with a super always waiting there, yeah, probably. But it's also probably because we're out of bot games, so, you know, the players are smarter and they're not just bots. The first game here was alright, and we got a nice slash here on the Mo to get 1st place. Second game though, I kind of got a bit too aggressive here. I spawned in alright, and I saw the Draco taking some cubes, and I decided to take them on. But then, another Kenji just pops out of a bush, and then I get pinched, and yeah. So that's our first loss. Doesn't really matter though, since we did get a rank 6, which technically is a loss, but we did gain 1 trophy from it. So that takes us to 115 trophies in total, which I would say is pretty good for our first game mode. Now, this means that we are 1/5 of the way there, and we've got about 8 more game modes, including Duo Showdown, which we'll hop into now. Duo Showdown was definitely a lot slower since you technically had to kill more people, as teammates would keep respawning. However, we still dominated pretty well in the first couple of games here, and the second game we had double Kenji, so it was actually pretty fun. We pretty much just wiped out all the other teams independently, and I finished the Draco off with a super. After all that, it went pretty well until this game where me and my Draco both went into the middle and were ambushed by berry attacks from above, and then a 13 power cube RT who just smashed me into the ground. However, we were now at 144 trophies, and we moved on to Brawl Ball. Brawl Ball is definitely my favorite 3v3 game mode, since it's pretty quick if you play well compared to other game modes. I mean, Basket Brawl is also quite fun, but we don't have it in rotation this season. The dash with Kenji was really strong here, since you could go up quickly, similar to Mortis, but that slash also brings in some extra damage when needed, especially when you're running up with the ball and there's some enemies in front. And definitely having good teammates helped too. When we were against another Kenji, we were definitely slightly slower, but still we showed them who was the better Kenji. Well, kind of, because we scored and ended with 1v0. However, on the third game, we didn't really do that well, and it may or may not have been my teammates. Like, Sandy just kind of walked away from the goal and let them score. And for the second goal, well, I think the other team kind of deserved to win. I mean, I wasn't playing that great, but here we go. Plus 15 trophies with Brawl Ball, and then we moved on to Gem Grab. Game 1, as usual for these game modes, was pretty easy. I mean, in Gem Grab here, we just had to keep the enemy back, and we had an easy win. Our goal in these games were pretty much just to protect our teammates who were carrying the gems, as Kenji's pretty good at protecting them and just going in for like those kills. For example, this Mo in the second game. The third game though got quite tense as we were 0 to 9 gems down, but we did actually win our gems back and we got the win. Next game, it was Kenji versus Kenji, and it was actually pretty easy to kill the other Kenji, but my teammates on the other hand were kinda struggling killing the other teammates that the Kenji had. So when it came down to the end, we couldn't do much and then we lost. So just like that, we gained 25 trophies on our Kenji and moved on to the next game, which was Heist. Game 1, like all the other game modes, were pretty easy and, well, very easy to be in fact. We just rushed in with our super, went ham on the safe, and game 2, slightly closer here, but we did pretty good with our super, and the healing definitely helped. I think Heist can be a very strong game mode for Kenji here, since if enemies are trying to defend their own safe, you can pretty much just heal back. Next game though, we were doing a pretty good job on the safe, but our teammates on the other hand weren't really defending too well, and yeah, that's another loss. And that leaves us with plus 24 trophies from Heist, and we were now at 208 trophies, meaning we were actually pretty close to halfway to 500, and if we got to 300 trophies, then we get that free random game mode revive, which might help later on. After that, we moved on to 5v5 Brawl Ball, which was definitely slightly longer than normal Brawl Ball, and with the first game here, it was definitely kinda close. Our Mr. P was, I think, mastery grinding, because they're just standing here attacking, but we got to go at overtime, so we still won. Oh, also shout out to G-Man here. He did want to join a couple times, but randoms only, so that's one of my rules for this Nuzlocke, so can't push with them. Speaking of randoms though, this second game was kinda rough. I mean, we couldn't really do much here, and as you can imagine, we lost. And that does bring our total trophies plus 5, which isn't a lot, but we're at 213 trophies, and yeah, not great from 5v5 Brawl Ball. We were now at Knockout though, which got quite interesting. We were against another Kenji who actually wasn't actually that good, and I think one of the tricks here is just use your super after they use their super, since once they end there, you can just slice them. However, we did get a very satisfying triple kill here with the super plus an extra attack, and on the other next 2 games we were actually playing really well, and had decent teammates to go with it. I mean, that's a big W. We even got an underdog game which gave us extra 4 trophies, which kinda did make up for some of the losses from before, and yeah, let's go for a montage here. I think this will be quite fun. And after a massive streak of 14 wins, we lost at game 15. I think the other team just had a slightly better matchup than ours, and to be fair, I don't think I was playing that great either. And that leaves us on 380 trophies, which with actually 3 game modes left, Duos, Hot Zone and 5v5 Knockout, If we do manage to get to 400 trophies, which I think we can, then we do get to revive another game mode of our choice. If we don't though, we still get that random game mode as we're above 300 trophies anyways, but I mean 20 trophies from 3 game modes, I think that's pretty doable. Now, we're gonna play Do next since the other 2 game modes weren't actually up yet. For Do's, the rules are actually pretty simple. I realize I haven't actually explained it before. You essentially have to pick Kenji or your brawler as your first pick, and if you lose at all with Kenji, then Do's is essentially dead and you can't play it again. So I therefore picked my 2 lowest trophy brawlers, who were Cordelius and Mandy, to help with the trophy averages, with the matchups, and also this map for Do's isn't actually too bad. You pretty much, as Kenji, just run through the middle with your shield, ambush the enemy once they get close, and as you can see, I did pretty well on this first game here. On the second game, however, we did manage to kill the Kenji at first, but the Pearl pretty much shredded us with their attacks. I don't think there was really much I could do here. They killed our Cordelius after, we killed their Pearl, and their Sandy beat our Mandy. Yeah, I'm not great with marksman brawlers, but there we go. We gained a massive 1 trophy from duos. Yeah, not a lot, but I mean, let's hope the other 2 game modes bring us better luck. Okay, today is day 2 and we have our 2 new game modes up, so we decided to hop into 5v5 knockout first, since I think Kenji can actually do quite well. We only needed 3 wins to reach 400 trophies, so that shouldn't really be a problem. After some chasing with the Miko, we won the first round pretty easily, and we finished off the Chester to win the game as a whole. Game 2 we died in the first round, but surprisingly, our Poco did actually beat the Mr. B. I mean, they were pretty good. As vengeance though, I just went to kill the Mr. P first, and then dodged some Mandy shots, and then we won the game. Now, we were actually 1 game away as well from reaching 400 trophies, and it was definitely looking good. Speaking of which, we definitely easily won the next game with all our teammates wanting to play a game. And a couple games later, I had this fun showdown with this Meg, who we actually drew with, and then my healing gadget did come in clutch here. However, in that same game, we were killed by a Chuck in the second round, and we all died from the same Chuck at the end of the third round. Meaning we did lose, but don't worry though, as we had Hot Zone as our last game mode, and we do get our extra game mode if we do need it as well. With Hot Zone, my main job was just stopping the other team from reaching the Hot Zone. While my teammates did the Hot Zone collecting, I just tried to kill as many enemies as I could. On game 3, however, we didn't do as well, and yeah, we lost. So that's every single game mode down, but we did get a Mythic Star drop, which did give us Foot Bonnie, so cool skin I guess, not bad. But that we were also at 426 trophies, meaning we do get our extra revive. Which game mode I picked? Well, I think it's probably obvious, Solo Showdown. I mean, it did very well at the start, and it was Cavern Churn, which is the game mode we lost in, but I think the only person I really trusted here was myself, and I don't think randoms are gonna help me push back to 500 trophies. So, we're gonna do one final montage, and yeah, camping in the bush was kind of the main strat here. Wait till 4th place, and then just go in. And just like that, we were 1 game away from reaching the final goal of 500 trophies. Can we make it? Well, let's see. If we got 1st place, then it will be our last game, but any other place would mean we need to play another game afterwards. And then, as you can see here, we have our final showdown with this BB, which we did actually win pretty easily. And yeah, does Kenji push from 0 to 500 trophies in a Nuzlocke? Is Kenji too overpowered? Comment below, because I'll see you in the next one. Peace.